Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to TipRanks News Bites. I'm Ari Gutman. Today is August 8th, and here are our top news bites. A series of key economic reports will be released throughout the week, all of which will heavily influence how the Federal Reserve proceeds to combat inflation. The Senate has just passed the largest climate bill to date, giving way for clean energy stocks to soar. And in more stock-specific news, UPS is nearing a deal with a healthcare logistics provider. Finally, as for our breaking TipRanks Insider news, our TipRanks tools are providing us with all of the insights as to why investors may want to think twice about an investment into Palantir. So be sure to stick with us through and through to the end of today's segment. Now let's get right to it. To kick us off, the Labor Department shared that the U.S. economy added over 500,000 jobs in July. That's coming in around 528,000 jobs. Now that news was shared this past Friday, and it was a figure that was much higher than anticipated. And now heading into this week, investors are fearing that the tone from the Federal Reserve is going to be much more aggressive given the strength of the labor market. And moving into this week, we have a series of economic reports that will be released, and all of which have the potential to literally drive market momentum or call for the brakes to be pumped altogether. The three major reports that economists and investors will eagerly be awaiting for this week are the Consumer Price Index, or CPI reading, which gives a measure of the average change over time in the prices paid by consumers for a market basket of consumer goods and services. Now this report is going to be pretty daunting, and it's going to be released on Wednesday. Then we have the Producer Price Index, or the PPI report, measuring the average change over time in selling prices, which is due to come out on Thursday. And then we have the Unit Labor Costs reading, detailing how much a business is paying its workers to produce an actual unit of output. Now that report is due tomorrow. With such a loaded economic calendar this week, amidst just another handful of days worth of companies like Disney and Coinbase, Palantir and Tyson Foods, all reporting earnings, just brace yourself for another potential market swing. In much greener news, if you will, the Senate just passed a bill which is allocating billions of dollars, $369 billion to be more exact, towards climate change as well as healthcare programs. Now the Democrats use a special process called reconciliation, which allows a bill to advance with a simple majority rather than the all 60 votes needed in order to pass a bill. As for the bill's breakdown, it contains loads of funding for clean energy and electric vehicle tax breaks, the manufacturing of batteries and solar panels, as well as pollution reduction. Now on the healthcare front, the bill also aims to cut drug prices for Americans across the board. The bill will need to find a victory in the House, where it is actually also expected to pass. As for the impact on the market, just get ready to add some energy investments to your watch list, as stocks like Tesla and ChargePoint could certainly see gains from the bill, as well as companies like NextEra Energy and Brookfield Renewable. Now, of course, there is no better place to do your due diligence than right here on TipRanks. Finally, according to the Wall Street Journal, who's had exclusive access to cover the news of this deal, UPS is nearing completion of an acquisition on an Italian healthcare logistics provider, BAMI Group. The deal itself is worth millions and could be finalized as soon as later on this afternoon. Now, BAMI is a distributor of a wide range of medical products, from imaging equipment to pharmaceuticals, and they're operating across Europe and Latin America. Now, the deal would surely help expand UPS's operations in both regions and, of course, begin to move the needle for UPS's stock in a positive direction. Just be sure to keep your eyes on UPS's stock today, as that news may hit us later on this afternoon. And as for my favorite part of the segment, our breaking TipRanks Insider news, we have Palantir in the spotlight, one of the hottest talked about software stocks on the street to social media platforms, which focuses on big data analytics. It's seeing a whole lot of insider selling, from the CFO selling over $1 million worth of shares just 4 days ago, to their COO selling $1.2 million worth of shares last week. And it's never a good sign when insiders are actually selling out of their positions. Not to mention, just within the past 7 days, based on over 500,000 TipRanks investor portfolios, investors have also been selling out of their positions with Palantir. Now, the overall news sentiment with Palantir is also negative. If the stock is within your portfolio, we here at TipRanks are just strongly encouraging each and every one of you to jump right onto TipRanks to perform your own due diligence and just make sure that it remains a perfect fit for your portfolio. Tip Rankers, that's our news for today. Before we get going, I'd certainly love to collect your thoughts on the week ahead. Do you think inflation has peaked, or are we in for a special surprise come Wednesday's CPI reading? Also, I want to collect your thoughts on Palantir. Is it in your portfolio? Be sure to leave a comment or two down below to let me know. Now, as always, be sure to stay up to date and stay connected with us by joining us on TipRanks TV, all the shows you cannot afford to miss. Now, until next time, thank you for tuning in.